Hi, and welcome back. In this lecture, we're discussing Key Insight 8, Dedicated Customer Experience or CX roles within the organizations. So if you look at the customer experience trends, a lot of businesses are starting to realize the importance of delivering a great and delightful customer experience. So most businesses are now starting to create dedicated customer experience roles within the organizations, and they are also realizing the importance of creating a delightful and a great employee experience, because companies which perform great on employee experience metrics will also deliver a great customer experience. So employee experience is basically a worker's perceptions about his or her journey throughout all the touchpoints at a particular company, starting with the job candidacy through the exit from the company. So what are a few such customer experience roles that we're seeing? One such role is the Chief Customer Officer or the CCO. So the CCO is in charge of the customer experience team, oversees the customer experience strategy, changes, and also implementation. Then we have the Chief Experience Officer or CXO. So CXO monitors, manages, and optimizes the customer experience at an executive level and focus on the customer's interest at the core of everything that they do. Then we have roles like the Voice of Customer or VOC Manager. So they give insight into the customer preferences, problems, and also complaints. Then let's talk about a few responsibilities of customer experience teams. The first is they are developing strategies for better, delightful customer experience. So basically understanding how customers interact with each touch point, whether it's the online store, the physical brick and mortar store, third-party distributor, whether it's using their app. So really understanding how the customer interacts with each touch point and then creating strategies which are delightful for every customer. Then they're also responsible to create what is called the customer journey maps to better understand how customers interact with touch points. So a customer's journey usually has several phases, starting with the awareness phase, where the customer is usually actively seeking products and services which could solve their issues. Then we have the consideration phase, where basically customers compare one organization's product and service offering with another. So basically comparing and contrasting which product or service delivers a great value for money and is actually recommended and most appropriate to solve the customer's issue. Then we have the purchase and the decision phase, which is basically the customer purchasing a certain product or service from an organization. And then we have the retention phase, where basically the business is trying to keep the customer's loyalty with them by giving them loyalty points and also different offers and services, value additions, and things like that. And finally, we have the advocacy phase, which is basically the organization delivering a great customer experience so that the customer becomes a brand ambassador for the business and starts advocating and promoting the brand's products and services and the brand to other customers. And also, another responsibility of customer experience team is to obtain feedback of products and services and also business operations using tools like surveys, interviews, and research. So not only getting customer feedback is important, but also we need to ensure that the customer feedback is given to product engineering and design teams so that they can make the improvements and the adjustments to the product and service offerings in order to address the customer's grievances and concerns. Then we have things like identifying customer experience metrics. So identifying issues, pain points, bottlenecks, and then providing solutions. So what are the metrics that we're going to look at when it comes to understanding whether we are actually delivering a great and delightful customer experience? What are the metrics? What are tools that we're going to use? Then you have the responsibilities such as creating and developing tools, technologies, and methods to improve the customer experience. So not only capturing the customer experience is important, but also how do we improve it and how do we sort of create a community within the customers. So how can we ensure that customers feel more connected to the brand and the products that they use? So customer experience teams are also responsible for considering such options. And finally, we have the responsibility to ensure customer suggestions and improvements are made aware across the business. So for example, the customer comes with a certain product and tells the cashier, we have a problem with this product and this is something that I don't like and I need a replacement. So all that feedback must be captured back and sent to the product design and engineering teams to look into much more greater detail as to why the customer doesn't like the particular feature. Maybe they haven't read the user manual properly. Maybe that particular component, the usage was not clear. Maybe some kind of other issue that the customer is reluctant to use the particular feature. Maybe a bad experience with a similar product. So something of that sort. So customer experience teams are also responsible to going into the details of such scenarios and really understanding what went wrong and how to fix it. So how do you develop and grow great customer experience teams? So customer experience teams within businesses are usually developed within businesses, usually focusing on three separate functions. The first is insights and analytics. So things like understanding the voice of customers or VOC, consolidating the data from a variety of sources and ensuring that a holistic view is present. tracking customer experience metrics, and understanding the business drivers which are driving those metrics. Then we have the design function. So using design thinking to continuously optimize the customer experience driven solutions to deliver a great customer experience. So design thinking is basically a process for solving problems by prioritizing the customer needs above everything else. So being empathetic about the customer needs and also understanding how people interact with the environment, and then relying on observation and many other tools to create solutions with an iterative approach, meaning you build, get feedback, iterate, and you continue that cycle until the needs are addressed. So following such a design thinking principle will help the entire organization to create delightful customer experiences. And finally, we have the change management function, which is basically aligning and transforming all the business processes, systems, people, policies, culture to take a customer experience first approach and create delightful and meaningful customer experiences. Well, that's about it for Key Insight 8, dedicated customer experience roles within organizations. I'll see you on another lecture.